The Climb, written by Martin Bissett, read by the author. This book is dedicated to Cameron, Elizabeth and Isabel, the inspiration for everything. Time is like a dream. In dreams, you can start a day before it has started in real life. Some days look like other days. Some days are incredible. And some days arrive that you've been waiting all your days to arrive. On this day, James had finally earned the money he needed for a toy that his heart was set upon. He even washed the dishes for his mum. It was worth it because of the climb that lay ahead. After his tasks were completed, James ran to his grandma's cabinet, where his dad had put his pocket money that he had earned. Today was the day. His final coin had given him the exact amount of money to the penny that he needed to buy his toy. James stood at the foot of a big, steep green hill. At the top of the hill stood a shop or shack. In the window of the shop was a toy that James had set his heart on. Nothing was more important to him than to purchase the toy. And so began the climb. James struggled greatly with the difficulty of the climb, and the incline of the hill, the thinness of the air, and the force of the wind pressed back down against him, as if it was trying to stop him from what he had set out to achieve. Sometimes, the force of the wind was so strong, James could hardly walk. But after hours and hours of climbing that seemed to stretch throughout the whole day, James could finally see the shop on the crest of the hill. His heart rate increased as he gave his last burst of energy to reach the shop. As the shop drew within a few feet of him, he could see the toy. It looked even more magnificent and desirable than he had imagined. James looked deep into the shop, and there it was, the toy he had worked so hard for. As James approached the front step of the door to the shop, he suddenly noticed a man to his left sat slumped against the wall of the shop. The man's appearance was dishevelled, his face unshaven, his body unwashed, his clothing unwearable. and his feet were bare, but his eyes were a deep Baltic blue, the like of which James had never encountered before. Without saying a word, the man directed his gaze at James and held out one cupped hand. James knew that he had come all this way for the toy, and that if he even gave the man 1 penny from his piggy bank, he would not have enough left for the toy which his heart was so steadfastly set upon. James looked at the man, then at the toy. Then back to the man, then back towards the toy. Over and over again. Finally, James paused. Silence overpowered him. James looked at the toy one last time. James looked at the man one last time. James decided to give the man all the coins in his piggy bank. James set off, back down the hill, crying his eyes out. But James had learned who he was at his core, what he stood for, and what was most important to him. I know these things too. And I know them because of a dream I had when I was 6 years old.